The wellness industry wants you to believe that aging well takes a cabinet full of pills and a 12-step morning routine. So most either burn out trying to keep up or they never start because the whole thing feels like a math problem that they can't solve. I don't think that most of us need most of the stuff that we're constantly advertised. So what is the simplest possible answer to a question that the wellness industry has made so unbelievably complicated? What do you actually need to stay independent as you age? Hi, I'm Michelle, and on this channel we talk about creating a peaceful, confident life after 50, especially if you're living alone, traveling solo, or navigating retirement. I was on a flight, standing in the aisle, lifting my very packed suitcase into the overhead bin. And I mean packed. Clothes, gluten-free snacks, personal items, my computer and my iPad. And I got it up there, but I did think about how many more years can I do this? When we landed, a gentleman got the bag down for me, and even he commented on how heavy it was. Now, yes, I could pack lighter, I know, but that's not the point. The point is I want the choice. I travel solo, I live solo, there's no built-in person to compensate for what I can't do, and I don't want my life to slowly shrink down to whatever I can still manage. I want the independence to live the way I want to live, to take care of myself, heavy suitcase and all. I can't control everything about how I age, and neither can you, but I've decided to keep the cards stacked in my favor. What that looks like for me is walking every day, lifting weights, and strength training 3 to 4 times a week, and eat almost no processed foods. I focus on whole, real foods, plenty of greens, proteins for my muscles, calcium for my bones, and I also get my regular checkups and screenings. None of that is because I'm afraid of getting older. It's because I want to make the most of every year I have left. I want to keep traveling. I want to keep living in my own home on my own schedule. I want more time with the people I love. The wellness industry needs aging to feel complicated. Think about it. If the answer were walk, lift, eat real food, and see your doctor, there's nothing left to sell you. Complexity is the product. Every week there's a new peptide, a new powder, a new gadget promising to add years to your life. And chasing all of it has a cost, and the cost is mental. When you're always hunting for the next trick, you never build the boring foundation that actually works. And underneath it, there's this low hum of anxiety, the feeling that you're always one product behind. Researchers have learned a lot about muscle loss, metabolic health, and longevity in the past 20 plus years. And a lot of that information is very useful. I'm not anti-science, and I'm not even anti-supplement. But the more science matured, the more complicated the advice got. Confusion sells. If aging well were simple, there would be nothing left to sell you. A 12-step protocol needs 12 products. A morning routine with cold plunges, green powders, and continued monitoring needs equipment, subscriptions, and a steady drip of new things to worry about. We could make one mindset shift and stop thinking about anti-aging. You're not trying to reverse a clock, and start thinking about functional independence. Can I carry my own groceries? Can I get off the floor without help? Can I catch a flight and haul my own bag? Radical simplicity beats complexity almost every time. The 3 habits of exercise, eating well, and getting your checkups are unglamorous, and there's no secret to them. But done consistently, they'll outperform a shelf of expensive bottles for the rest of your life. I walk every day, and I strength train 3 or 4 times a week. The walking for me is pretty easy. Louie, my dog, makes sure of that. Rain or shine, he's getting outside and he's getting his exercise, which means I'm getting mine. If you don't have a dog, borrow the principle. Attach your daily movement to something that won't let you off the hook, like walking with a friend. But walking alone isn't enough. After 50, we lose muscle every year if we don't actively fight for it. And muscle is what stands between you living independently and you needing help. Muscle is what gets you up off the floor if you fall. It opens the jar, it lifts the suitcase, it carries the groceries in. I lift weights, not extreme, but progressively heavier over time. I focus on the things that keep me independent: legs, grip, balance, and the ability to get off the floor without using my hands. The last one sounds small, but it's one of the better predictors of how independently you'll age. Think of strength training as a retirement account for your body. I don't count calories and I don't track macros in an app. I follow one rule that replaces all of that. I hardly eat any processed foods and mostly whole, real foods. Foods that look like what it was when it was grown. Within that, I just pay attention to getting protein for my muscles, plenty of greens and fiber, because gut health and steady blood sugar have more to do with clear thinking and stable energy after 50 than most people realize. And calcium for my bones, because a broken hip is one of the fastest routes from living alone to not living alone. And I'll add one more: hydration. Something as simple as drinking enough water can improve energy, concentration, digestion, and even help mistaking thirst for hunger. None of these things cost extra. Walking is free. Strength training can be done at home following along with a trainer on YouTube. Groceries you were already buying, chosen a little differently. The wellness industry can't sell you eat real food, drink water, and exercise. Preventative care becomes even more important as we age. It's tempting to skip the appointments when you feel healthy, but that's exactly when many problems can be caught early. Regular physical screenings, dental appointments, eye exams, and other recommended checkups aren't about living in fear of illness. They're about giving yourself the best opportunity to stay healthy for as long as possible. Especially if you live alone like I do, maintaining your health is one of the greatest investments you can make in your future independence. The good news is you don't have to overhaul your life overnight. In fact, I think it's much more effective to build these habits into routines that happen almost automatically. Maybe your day begins with a glass of water and a walk around the neighborhood. Maybe you strength train every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Maybe you build a meal around protein and vegetables before adding anything else. And maybe you schedule all of your annual appointments during the same month every year so you never forget them. The easier these habits become, the more likely you are to keep doing them for decades. I've also stopped measuring my health by how I look in the mirror. These days, I'm much more interested in what my body allows me to do. Can I carry groceries without struggling? Can I spend the day walking through a new city? And can I lift my suitcase into the overhead bin? Can I get off the floor with ease? Those questions tell me much more about my health than a number on the scale ever could. The wonderful thing about these habits is that they compound over time. One walk won't change your life, one healthy meal won't transform your body, and one workout won't make you dramatically stronger. But when you repeat those choices day after day and year after year, they build a future that's built on strength, energy, and independence. Wherever you are today, it's not too late to start. Your future self doesn't need perfection, just a few good choices done consistently. That's really what healthy aging comes down to. Not trying to avoid getting older, but giving yourself every opportunity to enjoy the years ahead with freedom, confidence, and good health. Thank you so much for watching.